Right, just 10 days to go until the start of Euro 2024. It all kicks off when hosts Germany take on Scotland in Munich a week on Friday.
Well, as thousands of fans prepare to descend on 10 host cities, let's get a travel perspective. Speak live to Annie Wilson, who's the Chief Commercial Officer for the travel search engine Kayak. Very good morning to you. Have you noticed any particular travel trends ahead of the Euros? What, with sort of a week and a half to go?
Yes, I mean, unsurprisingly, we're seeing a huge increase in demand for travel to the host cities. Düsseldorf, for example, which is the venue for England's opening match, demand is 3 times what it was for the same period last year. And inevitably, that means that prices are more expensive too. So typically, flights are about 70% higher to buy than they were for the same time last year.
So if that is the case then, and prices are going up, is there any way of doing it on a budget?
I wouldn't say on a budget, but there are some opportunities to still find deals. I mean, generally speaking, we'd recommend that people book well in advance, but recognise fans might still be looking for last-minute travel plans, or perhaps even waiting to see how the home nations fare in their group matches. So in general, it's the cities that are hosting England and Scotland's group games that are more expensive, but some offer better value than others. So flights to Frankfurt and Munich, for example, are around £300, whereas if you wanted to fly to Cologne for England's third group match, that's about £200. So there's £100 saving there. And then depending on how flexible fans can be, there are a few different ways you can be a bit creative and try and get a better deal. So if you can be flexible around when you travel, so perhaps looking for flights that depart 1 or 2 days earlier, coming back a little later, that can offer a real saving on the cost of that flight. And sites like Kayak offer great ways to search for flexible tools. Equally, if you were able to fly to a nearby city, even a city in a different country. So we've seen flights to Eindhoven in the Netherlands for as little as £100 return. And from there, it's a fairly straightforward 45-minute drive, or even a train journey to the German border for onward travel. So our advice would be, do your research, compare options, and if you have a little bit of flexibility, there are still savings to be had.
I apologise if you don't know the answer to this question, Andy, but in terms of booking in advance, would you say there are some England fans who've taken a bit of a punt, that they might be in the final come July the 14th in Berlin and already booked up in advance?
I'm sure there are some optimistic fans out there who have done that, and it's probably those that, if that punt pays off, will have saved the most money. As we get closer and closer to the latter stages, then we expect prices to increase. I would definitely recommend booking. Don't take anything to chance.
There'll be a few people piling in big vans and driving over there if that was the case. Annie, tell us about this UEFA travel pass and how that's going to work.
Yeah, this is a great initiative to encourage fans to use public transport. It's worth saying it is only available to match ticket holders, but there are 3 different types of pass. So there's one where you can get discount on international train travel across mainland Europe. It's worth saying it's not available on trains departing from the UK, but if you could get yourself to France, for example, you could then take advantage of the discounts from there. There's also significant discounts being offered on the high-speed rail network within Germany. So if you wanted to travel from the north to the south, the German rail network is fantastic, and there are some great savings to be had there. And then there's a third type of pass, which is a 36-hour travel pass, which offers completely free travel on local and regional transport for 36 hours around the match. So that's available from 6 a.m. on match day to 6 p.m. the following day. And the great thing about that, of course, is you can also use that to take advantage to stay in perhaps nearby locations and benefit from cheaper hotel accommodation. So Cologne, Dusseldorf, and Dortmund are all considered to be within one region, meaning you could get free travel in those 36 hours between those cities and perhaps use that to see a few different matches.
You mentioned it there, accommodation, Annie. Again, talking of trying to find a little bit of a bargain or the cheapest way to do it, what would your advice be?
The advice would be to shop around. It's very similar to flights. If you can be a bit flexible and perhaps stay further away, take advantage of the UEFA travel passes. There are still, variations in the city prices. Leipzig, for example, is offering still reasonable value on hotels. But once again, I wouldn't recommend arriving without anything booked and hoping for the best. It's better to plan, do the research and book ahead.
There must be some quirky places to stay. We usually find them at World Cups. Who's offering, sheds and boats and whatever else. And any other last-minute travel hacks, for fans who are desperate to go but just don't have the money to be able to?
Yeah, I think the main thing is just to have a plan. And I would just say, be flexible. Do explore options that are a bit further away. Take it as an opportunity perhaps to see a little bit more of Germany and some of the places that you might not think about visiting. And then use the UEFA travel pass when you're there. And before you go, use comparison sites like Kayak to find the best deals and soak up the atmosphere and enjoy the experience.